Hi, thanks for coming to my site. My name is Catherine Evel. I'm a mortgage broker and owner of Dominion Lending Center's Homestead Financial. Just to give you a little bit of information about myself, I have been a mortgage broker since 1999, so you're in good hands. I do have a lot of experience. I was previously with CIBC as a small business account manager, and now I've been mortgage brokering and putting people into their new homes and refinancing them and restructuring them for the last many years. What my job is to take a look at your financial situation and make sure that you not only get the best rates out there from all of the different lenders that are available and all the different banks, but also that we put a mortgage in place that's going to suit your specific needs. So my goal is to find out all about you and how I can help you the best so that we're putting you into a mortgage that's going to be in your best interest. A question I often get, or a question people often ask or think is, why would you use a mortgage broker? Why would you use my services over just going into the local bank that you bank at? Well, with using my services or using the services of a mortgage broker, ideally we have access to all of the different banks out there with the odd exception and all of the different lenders. And so therefore, instead of you having to go to various different banks to find out, making sure that you're getting to make sure that you're going to be getting the best rate and a product that suits your needs, that's what I do for you. Is I look at the different lenders and I provide you with the solutions and with which banks and which lenders are offering what products. So that's certainly one big advantage. Another big advantage is that because of the experience that I have, and all I do is mortgage financing, I am able to really educate you, and I have quite a bit of knowledge on the various mortgage products out there. So whether your situation is that you're self-employed and maybe your notice of assessments and your T1 generals don't show as much income as you're actually, your net income isn't showing as much as your gross income, or maybe you're buying a rental property, or maybe you're buying your third or fourth rental property, or maybe you're wanting to buy a second home for your child to go off to university. Those are all certain niche type of products, and I basically specialize specifically in mortgage financing. At the banks, they don't necessarily specialize just in mortgage financing. They have to wear a number of different hats. As a mortgage broker, I have stories every day regarding ways of how I have helped people achieve their financial goals and help people save significant amounts of money. So one story that happened recently was during my mortgage application process, where I'm gathering your information to get to know you and get to know what your thoughts and your plans are. The client had said that they have only a small mortgage of $17,000, and my reply was, "Wow, that's fantastic." And they seemed to think that they didn't really have any other mortgage financing. However, throughout the application process, they did say that they had a line of credit which was about $150,000. And so I knew that would be a secured line of credit, because banks don't offer money unless it's secured at that level. Anyways, what ended up happening is that with his secured line of credit, he was paying basically prime plus 1%, which is quite a bit higher right now than the fixed rate mortgages. And he hadn't even thought about kind of consolidating his mortgage and his line of credit and some of the other debts that he was carrying and merge those into one new mortgage with a lower payment as well as with a lower amortization, and really be able to pay that mortgage down in a much quicker way and in a much more structured way. Because often with secured lines of credit, because they are interest only, we tend to only pay the interest only. So bottom line is that after restructuring the financing, he's got a lot more money in his pocket and paying that mortgage down much more quickly. A situation where I helped out a client recently is this individual is self-employed. He is 100% commissioned though, so there are lots of different rules when it comes to mortgage financing as far as the income that we look at and how lenders will consider income as far through the qualification process. So this particular individual was paid 100% commission but was a self-employed person. And he had some equity in his property, in his principal residence, and he also had a rental property. And the rental property was basically a property that he owned, that he had a tenant in, but he also ran his business out of this particular property. The commercial property that he was running his business out of, that he also had a tenant in, he really didn't want to have to restructure that because the financing that was on it was from when it was originally a residential property, and therefore there was residential financing on it. And there is a difference as far as rates and costs for residential financing compared to commercial financing. So, but there was not enough equity in the principal residence to be able to pay out all of the debt that he really needed to consolidate, because total debt service ratio was very, very high, and they were feeling a lot of financial stress. So the solution was to put a second mortgage onto the commercial property that allowed him to pay out 2 of the large debts, and then on the principal residence, restructure that property up to 85% loan to value to pay out the remainder of the debt. The bottom line savings for this individual, he went from having $8,500 a month going out the door to $3,400 a month going out of his pocket. So huge, huge savings by restructuring. So the reason why I tell you this story and some of the other stories, and I've got lots and lots of them up my sleeve, is just to let you know that because I have the experience of being a mortgage broker and writing anywhere from 120 to 150 mortgages every year just for myself, and then my mortgage agents that I coach as well. With all that experience, most mortgages these days are not just as simple as I've got a salaried job and I'm ready for a mortgage. There's often a lot more to it. And so whether your mortgage is a nice straightforward, you've got a salary, you've got your down payment and no problem, or whether your situation is a little bit more detailed or a lot more detailed, I'd be happy to chat with you and happy to put the solution together. These days, we're so bombarded with so much information from our Twitter accounts and our emails and our Facebooks and all of these things that we've become, apprehensive of potentially engaging in the sales process. So I completely hear you, and that's basically the reason why we decided to do all of these videos, is so that you don't necessarily have to call up and feel like you're going to have to engage in a sales process. This way you can watch the videos in the comfort of your own home, and if you decide that you want to apply, or you would like to chat further with me, or you have any questions, you'll absolutely know how to reach me, and I'd be happy to chat with you anytime. If you would like to be pre-approved right now, or you'd like to provide me with some of your information right now, then feel free to go to the Apply Now section, and it's a real quick little application, and then you can provide me with a little bit of your information, and we'll be able to get you pre-approved very quickly.